Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
Serious. What stole your joy? Why do you not have the same zest for life that you once did? Attention. Serious. Tag notice. Jokes, puns, and off-topic comments are not permitted in any comment. Parent or child. Parent comments that aren't from the target group will be removed, along with their child replies. Report comments that violate these rules. Posts that have few relevant answers within the first hour, and posts that are not appropriate for the serious tag will be removed. Consider doing an ARMA request instead. Thanks for your cooperation and enjoy the discussion. I am a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit if you have any questions or concerns. Spouse and 3 kids died in an accident. People said it would take time to feel joy again, but it's been over a decade now without much change. I enjoy little things from day to day now, but there's no larger point anymore. Life is mostly just a chore. Halloween made 5 years since my wife and son died. She was 8 months pregnant. He was our first. He died 35 hours later in the NICU. You are absolutely correct. I don't have nor can I find big picture happiness. Just the random day-to-day uptick that is welcome, but I know it is temporary. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I can't understand losing your wife, but I lost a child when I was 8 months pregnant when I was shot in the stomach. A son. 3 days away from being induced. I almost died. He didn't survive, but saved my life. I would have traded places with him if I could have. I have other children here that need me though. I'm so very sorry, pensive face. I lost my wife to cancer in 2019. We had been together for 34 years. She was my best friend, the love of my life. We raised a family together and had big plans for when the kids moved out. We were going to travel and do all sorts of fun stuff together, just the 2 of us. She passed right before COVID hit. I went though the entire lockdown by myself in a town with no family and no real friends. We could have spent so much time together. Now that things are getting back to normal, I have no idea what I'm going to do with my life. I can relate to this, but with my adopted parents, I lost them both in a tragic accident in early 2020. They had adopted me as their only child almost exactly 20 years prior, rescuing me from a very violent and unsafe situation. They were my absolute best friends. We were 3 peas in a pod. For a long time I felt so robbed. Like we were supposed to have had so much more time together as a family. Then I stumbled onto a Winnie the Pooh quote. How lucky I am to have had something that makes saying goodbye so hard. Quote. It dawned on me how extraordinarily lucky I am to have had 20 years with the most incredible people I've ever had the privilege of loving. Although I still miss them fiercely and hate the absence they left behind, I can now feel the gratitude and joy of the time we had together. I understand our situations are different, but I share this in hope it will bring you some of the comfort it brought me. The realization that no matter what I do, no matter how many hours I work, I'll still never be able to get ahead. Working just to have little to nothing to show for it doesn't feel great. Surviving, not thriving. It becomes normalized too. You eventually get to TBE point where everything is seen as a zero-sum gain, loss. It's a fucked up way to live. My mum died and it all went to shit. My mama passed when I was 8. Been depressed since then. I feel ya. My dad passed when I was 8. I feel you. Same, but it was my dad. He literally just collapsed dead out or nowhere. Shortly after that pandemic started. Then shortly after that our landlords had to terminate our lease so they could move back onto the property. So my wife and I were forced to move to a new place while rent prices were crazy. Now we barely have enough money for the things we used to enjoy together. He missed meeting his first grandkid, my daughter, by less than a year. Miss you, Dad. Wish we had more time, pensive face. My spouse died of cancer. Literally nothing holds joy anymore. Life consists of waiting for it to be done. I can't imagine this. And think about my sister-in-law daily. I lost my brother to cancer last year and life just doesn't feel fair anymore. I said this to someone the other day, I don't feel much genuine happiness for others and I don't think I'll ever feel the same amount of joy I've felt when he's been around. My brother died about 10 years ago. I felt exactly like you do for the first few years. Then it got easier. Not better, but easier. And then a few years after that, it really does feel okay most of the time. Not always. It still wrecks me every year when the seasons change to winter. And many other times. But life becomes enjoyable again. Things bring you genuine happiness. Hang in there. This comment is making me cry, so I'm signing off now. But know that you've got an internet stranger out here thinking of you and wishing you so much healing and happiness to come. I hope you tell your sister-in-law that. You both might find comfort together. Sorry to hear about your loss. I got into a car accident in March that I thought I walked away from with no injuries. 2 days later my head started bobbing and I couldn't make it stop. Turns out I suffered some brain damage and developed a neurological disorder called cervical dystonia. Now I'm in constant pain. My head looks like it was screwed on wrong. I can't look at anything without rolling my shoulders forward, so I look like a hunchback. And it's so embarrassing. No one's ever heard of dystonia. So I know when people look at me they wonder what TF is wrong with me. It's completely dehumanizing and I feel like a monster. As if it wasn't bad enough that I'm in excruciating pain. All because of a fender bender. I just lay in bed all day now. Edit. Thank you all for the well wishes. It warms my heart. As for treatments, I am hopeful that something will work. But I'm currently in between neurologists because I had to move unexpectedly. The last one was about to start me on Botox and physical therapy. And I had to wait several months for an opening because they were the only ones in the area that took my insurance. But I'll find a new one, and see what they can do for me. I am not without hope, and the fact that so many people care really brightened my day. I have cervical dystonia. I go to a neurologist that specializes in movement disorders and get Botox injections every 4 months. That removes 100% of my symptoms. I urge you to look into it yourself. If you get just a fraction of the relief I get, I think it would be worth it.